From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big evening, an afternoon if you're on the West Coast, as stimulus heats up. Of course, stimulus is heating up in a way we never saw it happening. What's going on? Well, for the first time ever, we see the impact of growth for this economy kicking at the doors of stimulus. There's 6 million jobs, 8 million jobs missing, and 16 million people unemployed, but that number could be gone by the time the stimulus bill gets to a vote. In this video, I'll go over what happened last week for economic data and what's happening this coming week for economic data, and why it shows that stimulus needs to hit rather sooner than later. I'll also go over the incredible push from Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer to get student loan debt forgiveness forgiven, and what happened, why it did not get a memo on Friday as due. We'll go over the big economic data coming this week from whether it's Friday or Tuesday, and also Monday, and how this economic data could reflect what happened last week with Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, and also retail sales, unemployment numbers, and more. It's a big economy where a lot of things are moving faster and quicker than anyone saw before. For stimulus would happen if it happened right now. But what happens with stimulus if it lands in a vote in the House and Senate this July? Will the economy be fully rebounded then? Or will it still be the way it is right now? I'll have all those details as Afternoons LA kicks into high gear starting right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LA as we go into the sunset on a Sunday afternoon with incredible wind here in Los Angeles, incredible heat, but hopefully it is easy breezy where you are. That's not what's going to happen in this economy next week. It's not going to be easy breezy. It's going to be tumultuous and growth oriented. In this video, we're going to analyze why stimulus needs to get to the Senate and the House floor as soon as possible. One viewer asked me earlier today, do you think forced stimulus is going to happen? Yes, if the vote was today. What if the vote's later this week? It's still going to happen. What about July? Oh boy. Don't really know the answer. In this video, we're going to analyze what the possible answer could be based upon the growth of this economy. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Calcino VIP. I'm back in 2 hours from now with Evenings LA, and then 2 hours after that with Late Night, our Reverend Sir Lloyd and Javina Light. This is what you need to know. This economy's rebounding. Don't defy that the economy's rebounding. It is. But it's not fully recovered. Stimulus, for purposes of the president, his Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, myself, Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, stimulus is needed if two things are at issue. They've said, first, jobs are not restored. Number two, unemployment is still not restored. People don't have their jobs back. When do those two numbers report? The jobs numbers reports only once per month, and the unemployment number reports weekly. So that's very important to understand for purposes of forced stimulus. You need stimulus right now because those two numbers are not recovered. First, there are 8 million jobs missing in this economy since before COVID. 8 million jobs. When are those 8 million jobs going to be restored, and how many jobs were restored this month? We won't know the answer until the end of this month. Last month, we were looking to see 300,000 jobs restored in the month of March. We restored 1 million. But 1 million into 8, LA, that's 8 months. We have 8 months to restore this economy. That's not a worry for stimulus. It isn't. What is a worry is that Wall Street analysts believe that this month, April, as states like California and New York and Florida and Texas reopen, you could see 2 million jobs restored. 2 million jobs into 8 months is 4 months, which is just around when forced stimulus would be called for a vote. Oh boy. Yep, you're seeing the issue right at hand. Let's jump into the big numbers at issue for forced stimulus and why that July date is such an important date. When talking about forced stimulus, it's important to understand that the date that Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer say the bill is going to be called for a vote is July. Okay. Well, this is not July, and July is not tomorrow. There's a time frame between now and July. Look at this big money under forced stimulus. If the senators got the bill out the door, they are likely to give you $2,000 a month for 6 months or $1,400 a month for 6 months, $8,400, the biggest single payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. There's different proposals. House members want to give you a stimulus check every month through this pandemic plus 1 year. So a stimulus check every month of this pandemic that's remaining, let's say 6 months, and then a 1 year after that. So that's 18 months of checks. The senators want to give you checks to the end of December, which is about 6 months of checks. The House members are progressives. The senators are more elder statesmen, more movers and shakers. And then the amount of the checks are different. Senators, bigger checks. House members, smaller checks, but more checks offered. House members, $1,000 per check after the first one being $2,000. Senators, amount we don't know, but word on the streets is that the House senators would pay you $2,000 a month over 6 months, which is $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, which is about $8,400. This is per person. This is if you're on SSI, SSDI. This is if you make less than $75,000, and this is a household of 4 or less. So what's the problem? There's 8 million jobs missing, LALATE. We restored 1 million jobs last month. Okay, so we restored 2 million jobs this month, perhaps. Then in 4 months, the jobs will be restored. Is that a problem? It's not a problem, but the issue is that it comes right up on the cusp of when the bill is voted upon. Will senators or House members get cold feet if they suddenly see 8 million jobs missing, dropping down to 500,000 jobs missing? We don't know. And the bigger issue is we don't know what this month's jobs numbers is going to be. Now, when we talk about unemployment numbers, those are weekly. And those unemployment numbers are growing faster than anyone saw. If we were looking at this 2 weeks ago, we would have looked at really this number, 744,000 new unemployment claims 2 weeks ago. It's about the same as it's always been on this Coverage's channel for 40-something weeks, 700, 800, 900,000 unemployment claims. But that was 2 weeks ago. That was not this last Thursday. And this last Thursday, this is where the unemployment claims came in at. Oh boy. Yes, oh boy. It dropped nearly 250,000, its best level since March of 2020. And then this number, the continuing unemployment claims, fell 1.2 million. Well, if you look at that number, the continuing unemployment claims is now 16 million people still on unemployment. How many months does it take to restore 16 million people? And don't presume it has to go to 0 before people get cold feet. They could get cold feet if it drops from 16 to 3 or 16 to 4. When will this economy potentially show 2 million, 3 million, 4 million going off of long-term unemployment? A new report, if this makes anything even more interesting, a new report today says that most states are now approaching the 1-year renewal status, and they're making it harder for people to stay on unemployment, that they now investigate the claims after 1 year to ensure that you really do need unemployment assistance. So it may be even harder to be a continuing unemployment claim going forward, which could cause the number to drop faster, whether it really is rebounding or whether it's being pushed off of claim. Really interesting. And then came everything else last week. Everything else last week showed rebounding like no one has seen. Now, this is what you need to know. When considering forced stimulus and the push to get it to the Senate floor, the House floor, as fast as possible, whether it's May, June, or July, Wall Street has a lot of people it pays a lot of money to analyze and predict Wall Street. Wall Street predicting Wall Street. Predicting the economy, predicting corporate earnings, predicting unemployment. And guess what they did last week? All those very well-paid, very well-educated, very smart people got it wrong. And they got it wrong day after day after day. And they didn't get it wrong just a little bit. They got it wrong an enormous amount. They underestimated the growth of the recovery where we are right now nearly by 0.25% to 30%. It was sometimes 300 to 400% bigger, the recovery, or faster than what those well-paid analysts thought. It started with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo reported first quarter 2021 earnings last week, and it blew out Wall Street's projections of 0.70 a share, came in at nearly double. And then Goldman Sachs, the banking investment firm, Wall Street is anticipating growth of $10 a share, earnings of $10 a share for Q1 2021. It came in at $20 a share. And there was the start. We didn't end there. There was the most successful IPO of the year so far, Coinbase. And then came the retail sales numbers. Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, look at this. Retail sales for March. Wall Street's analysts said, we're going to turn it around. We're going to go from negative in February, down 3%. We're going to turn it around, go positive. I say maybe positive 6%. Good growth in retail sales. Oh no. Underestimated by 50% again. It nearly hit 10% in March. It just continues to be underestimated across the board. And we weren't done there. Then we went into Friday, and we had more analysts coming in from Morgan Stanley. Oh my goodness, look at this one, folks. Morgan Stanley blew it out of the water. It wasn't double 2020's profits of Q1. It was nearly triple or quadruple. What's the takeaway? The takeaway is that this economy is rebounding. It's recovering very fast. And every week, it looks like it's recovering faster than anyone can anticipate it. The totality of all those reports last week showed that every time that Wall Street was tasked with the duty to figure out how big do you think we're recovering, how fast do you think we're recovering, how rebounding are we, they undervalued it by 30%. Guess who has to value this as well? Congress. Congress, the president, the Treasury Secretary has to figure out when those jobs are going to be restored, when unemployment is going to be back to normal, when unemployment claims are going to drop. And if they undervalue it with their Economic Council members, guess what? People may get cold feet. Let's go back to that graphic again for that stimulus check. What's important to understand is the stimulus check's most important word on the graphic is this one. Oops, that's the producer price index. It's not that graphic. It's this graphic. There we go. July. Look at that. July is critical. July is critical for many, many reasons. One, it is over 2.5 months away. And the growth of this economy since January to now, March, which is, you're looking at March data in those last reports from Wells Fargo and similar banks, the growth in 2 months or 3 months has been astronomical. We're 3 months away from July when the vote would happen. Imagine what could happen in 3 months from now. The second issue is that every month that you don't get this done, it's a stimulus check. The third issue is that you want this done by July. Because Congress goes on vacation until September. Imagine if they let this slide to September. Oh, that is the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death because at that point, you know this economy is close to fully rebounded by September, October, when they come back into session after their summer break. That is the kiss of death to not get this done by July. Ultimately, no one knows when this economy is fully rebounded. And no one can predict the growth rate of the recovery right now. The growth rate is so ever-changing and speeding up month after month faster than the month before that you can't even gauge what the growth rate is, meaning we're improving from this week to that week, but the next week we're improving exponentially higher than the week before. Hard to say. Need to get this done. Coming up next week is a series of major banks and major consumer staples like Coca-Cola reporting earnings. I'll be going over what they say, what they could impact your stimulus across the board. Meantime, I have new videos I want to look back on with Elizabeth Warren for purposes of student loan debt forgiveness. Student loan debt forgiveness remains a big issue that you should be pushing for going into tomorrow because of some letter, which I'm going to detail, that's missing. That was due on Friday. And in a special tonight on Afternoons LALATE, I'll have a little bit of coin LALATE in which I give you the update of where crypto is suddenly tanking to this evening. But meantime, I'll have big updates about your fourth stimulus coming up right after this financial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE. Coming up later in this video is Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer pushing for student loan debt forgiveness. And I'll explain why you have to push them to push for student loan debt forgiveness as well. After a major letter that was due Friday didn't come in. Where is it? Have you seen the letter? Have you seen the letter? Thank you for joining me on Afternoons LALATE. It's part of our extended broadcasting programming schedule. Hope you are having a great Sunday. I am back with you with more coming up after this. After this, in 2 hours from now, is Evenings LALATE. And then Late Night, which is our irreverent, laugh-a-minute, non-informational, humor-only broadcast. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. And I might be in the live chat. Say hi. Hi, how are you? Here's what you need to know about what's coming up next week. Next week, there's a series of economic data that could signally, and also the development for the White House, that could singularly impact your stimulus out the door. What's at issue? First, the president's having climate next week. Yeah. If it's not stamps, it's climate. Climate has been the single e-ticket for you for forced stimulus. Why? Because the president demands climate in the bill, the forced stimulus. Republicans say it's a deal killer. They're not going to do the bill if there is climate in there. And with climate in there, it has to go by recon. And recon gives you the stimulus checks. So you want the president to be talking as much as you can talk next week about climate. And he is, because there's a climate conference. So you want to look up in the sky and say, please talk about more climate. Now and get it to reconciliation faster than ever. A new report today, this weekend, said that forced stimulus would lift 6.6 million Americans out of poverty. Meantime, what's really important to know is that there's a series of corporate earnings released next week that could reveal how strongly, quickly, and robustly this economy is recovering and could signal the need to get stimulus out the door. Coca-Cola reports on Monday with United Airlines and IBM. Jim Cramer says of Coca-Cola, I still expect a good number for them and a great story about food service reopening. United Airlines. Cramer says, well, if it's anything like Delta, you're going to hear about the coming boom. OMG. Cramer says boom, meaning economic boom. I think it's right. It's the right place to be, meaning a right stock to be in. IBM. Cramer says, what will be the IBM to do? I'm telling you, the stock is hanging in there. But the real excitement then kicks up on Tuesday as Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and Netflix report their earnings. As a Johnson & Johnson, Kramer says, I bet J&J has a fantastic quarter and reveals even a better pipeline. As in Netflix, he says, even their conference calls are great content. But the big day, people, folks, the day you want to watch is Friday. Oh, boy. Friday is Honeywell. Kramer says, I think the numbers can go higher. And then American Express. This could tell you where this economy is going. Kramer says of American Express, it's all about gauging the power of the great reopening. With this combination of small business credit, travel, and entertainment lines, we should be able to have a good read on the strength of the recovery going forward. Wow. American Express is the single best indicator next week of corporate earnings to tell you where this economy is going. And if that rebound is happening, then it's happening, and that will give you an eye and ear as to how fast it's happening. Over the videos today, I've been detailing to you timelines. And one of the things that I tried to make clear, but I want to make clear in this video, is that if you think that economic data is going to turn to the negative, that's fine, because economic data to the negative helps stimulus. You want the current growth rate of where this economy is now or something worse, because that gets you stimulus. In fact, it almost gets you stimulus if, under fifth stimulus this fall. It's where the economy is rebounding or growing back faster than the current rate. That's where you get cause of concern for stimulus to get in the door. Among the big concerns that could drag the economy down, and of course help stimulus, is looming concerns about a housing market crash. One of the number one search terms, according to a major financial news network this weekend, is when is the housing market going to crash? Why are they looking that up? Did you hear something I haven't heard? And that's what the article is basically saying, that people think there's something about to crash and that it may crash. Also, one of the things that I have been reporting that is likely to crash, and this is not novel and it's not something out of the ordinary, is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency dominated social media on Friday. It was the number one search term on Twitter all Friday. After the Coinbase IPO last week was a major hit, but there's new concerns now that crypto could take a major hit in the next few weeks. Just a few days ago, we were looking at graphics like this where Ethereum and Bitcoin were up many, many percents for the day. That is not the situation anymore, as it's now worried that people are getting into crypto for speculation, not understanding valuation, and a major sell-off could tank crypto across the board. As of noontime today, if you're tuning in on noontime LA today, crypto was down upwards of 14% for Bitcoin and Ethereum at one point. It pulled back to about 8%. That's substantial, people. Remember, crypto trades 24/7. So down 14%. If you saw last week, it was up 5 and 7 and 5 and 9 or 5 and 4. It wasn't up substantial in one day, but to think that it dropped faster in one weekend day or a few hours, that faster than it rose over an entire week, yeah. My concern is that you saw social media with people buying a coin, not knowing why they're buying a coin, just buying it because it's going up. Someone else's coin went up. I think my coin will go up. Oh, it did go up. It's going to go up again. Without understanding why it's going up, understanding why there's a value or not a value at that price rate, just to hope that something's going up and hence the other thing's going to go up. Here's what you need to know. Not everything goes up every single day, and that ultimately everything does go down eventually, and you can get really burned. So a crypto blaze or bust, a housing bust, or any sort of tech bust could also cause a major fallout of the economy. Also, one of the subjects you haven't heard me talk about in a few weeks is inflation. What happened to all those inflation concerns? This remained a major topic last week on Wall Street analyst reports, where suddenly no one's worried about inflation anymore. The growth numbers are enormous, and suddenly we don't worry about inflation anymore. They think that there could always be that major shocker across the board of an inflationary hit, the 10-year Treasury note going up, when one of these data come in too strong. We have yet to see it, and they think that moment could still come. What still needs to come, though, is that $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness memo from Miguel Cardona. What's going on? 2 weeks ago, the president said that he agreed with Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer that he will allow his education secretary to draft a memo. The memo's purpose is to determine whether the president of the United States can forgive student loan debt by executive order. He told his education secretary 2 weeks. Get that letter to me. 2 weeks was last Friday. Where's the letter? Have you seen the letter? No one has seen the letter. No one has seen the letter. So, Purple Power, if you have asked about student loan debt forgiveness, and I see the comments the same viewers ask about every day, because it's a very big issue. It's a very big issue. People have student loan debt. They want it gone. Or they have daughters or sisters or brothers. They want it gone. Go on social media, tag Elizabeth Warren, tag Schumer, say, where is the education secretary's letter? It's due. It's supposed to go over whether we can have student loan debt forgiveness forgiven. 36 million Americans would get the forgiveness of student loan debt wiped off their map that will allow them to buy a home or buy a car or start a business. Since that determination by the president to have the education secretary prepare the letter, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer have hit back hard. This is one of several videos they released. This one was a Zoom chat in which Elizabeth Warren talks with former students and current students about how this helps their future. During the video, Elizabeth Warren loses a internet feed connection. It's not me, it's her, but you continue to hear her audio. Let's listen in.
For you. And you've told us what you would do, and that's terrific, Sabrina. Anybody else want to jump in on this one? Give us an idea. Geneva, do you have, tell us about how your life would be different.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, as a parent, it just
had your college diploma but no debt, then you'd be in a better position for your daughter, and to be able to strengthen her and lift her up as she goes forward, both as a child and as she gets ready for school. I think that, Kendrick, you talked about your daughter losing her car because you were struggling with your own student loan debt after you'd gotten cheated by a for-profit college. But I think the generational effects of this, it means it hits you, but it hits the next group and the next group and the next group. And I think that's a powerful point. And I appreciate your raising this, Geneva. I think that's really important.
Meantime, Chuck Schumer, if you go to his actual YouTube page, 3 out of the last 4 videos are about student loan debt forgiveness. He has been hitting very hard, and this is one of his recent videos in which he hits hard about having the president sign it by the stroke of a pen. That's referring to executive order.
Because for every young person who's not starting a business, for every young person who's not buying a home, that's holding back the economy, and that affects every single one of us. So if you've got student loan debt, you love this plan. President Biden can cancel $50,000 worth of student loan debt. But if you don't have student loan debt, you'll love this plan, because this is about lifting up everyone, about closing racial wealth gaps, and about creating more opportunity for the entire economy.
You know, some people say, well, I didn't have this opportunity and I had to pay all my debt. Why help them? Because it helps everybody. As Elizabeth said, it helps start businesses. It helps buy cars. It helps push money into the economy. And one more argument. If we said that, we wouldn't have Social Security. What about the people before Social Security who never got it? We wouldn't have Medicare. What about people who said they shouldn't get it? We're an open, wonderful society. We try to help people who need help. When we graduated from college, when many of the people who are older graduated from college who'll be making these arguments, there wasn't this kind of student debt. 30,000, 50,000, 70,000. Unheard of. I struggled to get through college, but I was able to get out of there with no debt.
And that's really the point. Back when I went to college, you could graduate from a state school for $50 a semester. I know, because I did. But it means you could graduate for a price that you could pay for in a part-time waitressing job.
And there you go. Coming up this week, the anticipation of the push for forced stimulus heats up. As the president has a series of climate conferences, and those climate conferences will put climate front and center and make the Republicans say, hey, that's why we're not doing your forced stimulus package bill, because there's climate in there. That signals your push, Purple Power, for reconciliation. Push Purple Power. As the viewers of this channel, the community of this channel, Purple Power, push for reconciliation sooner rather than later. Take this video, share it on social media, tag elected officials, tag them to say, start the fourth stimulus package by reconciliation, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Meantime, if you want student loan debt forgiveness forgiven and you're wondering where is that education secretary's letter, push and tag Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer. They're on top of it. They're on top of it as big as I am and you are. And so they want it done. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. So much more exciting stuff coming up later today on this channel. Again, join me next on Evenings LATE in 2 hours from now at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this video live, it'll automatically take you to Evenings LATE next. And then after the show is done, and then after that is our late night irreverent humor only video late night, and that's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling. I'll see you next on Evenings LATE. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. I hope I don't get blown away in this wind if you did not hear it during this video. It was just a little bit windy. And with that, I hope you have a robust, wonderful afternoon. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on always smiling, and stay with LA for more.